What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. It is September 20th, 2021. This is your Fightful post-Raw review. I think a pretty solid Raw, but we'll see what you think. We'll see what Denise Salcedo thinks. Denise, how you doing?
I actually thought today's Raw was really good. I watched top to bottom live, the full 3 hours, normal with commercial breaks like I normally do. And I will tell you that today's Raw felt like a 2-hour show. I mean, maybe a little longer than 2 hours, but
we got through to the Grinch. We got through to Scrooge. Everybody's going to have a cooked goose soon.
I had a great time watching Raw today. I will say that much. I enjoyed the show today. Why am I the Grinch? It's not like you've been liking every edition of Raw.
Come on, just because everybody is nice to you and they're mean to me.
Oh, you can't even play that card anymore, Sean. You could have played that card last year. You can't play that card anymore, okay? Everyone likes you too, okay?
Oh, come on.
All right?
Come on.
I don't deserve any of that. You know what? Last year, I would have been like, you know what, Sean, you're right. Everybody does like me. They like you too.
Goofball.
You were in catering, sitting there with me in WWE catering. So STF you.
I meant like in the media in general, every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming at me over the last week. I got people trying to hunt me down, Denise. It's wild.
Sean, just ignore them. You don't think I got every Tom, Dick?
Well, I can ignore Denise because she gets muted. Let's go ahead and do that. Leave a thumbs up on this video, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, and donate a super chat. It'll get your question or statement read on the air, and it supports us. It would mean an awful lot. Here's some programming notes for this week, guys. Wednesday, the Wednesday Night War podcast, or not the Wednesday Night War podcast. My gosh, I'm still in the habit. It's not a Wednesday Night War podcast. It's an AEW post show. I'll be at Arthur Ashe. I'll be sending in some notes. I might tune in after the show and join and give a few little scoop skeets. But Arthur Ashe, I'll be there this Wednesday. Denise, you were in New York. You left about 3 days early.
Yeah, I did. Also, Sean, you keep freezing like a whole bunch. And it's definitely not me. You've been freezing like 50,000 times. But anyways, I just wanted to tell you.
Nobody else. And you know what? We'll
okay, anyways. So as I was saying, yeah, I didn't go to New York for AEW. I went to New York for a 2-day vacation because, I deserve a vacation, Sean.
Yeah, sure. Okay. What you want me to bitch about you going on vacation?
You sound like you were about to complain.
You went to a Jets game. How much of a vacation is that?
3 days. You left 3 days too soon. Well, you know what, Sean? Pay me more money and I might be able to afford to stay an extra 3 days.
I mean, it's like you were like, how could I torture myself? I'm going to go to a New York Jets game. Okay, well, there you go.
Sean, you're a Bengals fan. Calm down. I don't know that much about football.
Let's go ahead and mute Denise again.
Anyway, I do know that there has never been a text message sent saying that the Bengals have been to the playoffs. Correct? Am I correct on that?
What? Yes. The Bengals have been to the playoffs many times.
Quiet.
What are you talking about? The Bengals have been to the playoffs.
All right.
Well, I probably
don't worry. I'll get my quote right. I'm just trying to tell you that you know what? I had a great time at the game. I ate food. I played. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. Fear and Loathing in New York says, I think Denise kicked herself out of New York. Well, you know what? I'll be in New York Wednesday. Hope to see some of you guys. Nerd Guru says Denise got to see Zach Wilson no-sell being a Jets quarterback. People really trashing the Jets here. Oh,
that's
man,
okay.
People saying
at least
the Bengals were in 2 Super Bowls.
Are self-aware, though.
Super Bowl, Denise.
You're just lucky that I don't have the knowledge that I need to burn you at the moment.
Well,
so you are very lucky.
That seems to be the basis of our friendship, Denise. You don't have the knowledge required to burn me. Let's go.
Yeah, hold the phone. This is what people don't know. How many times don't you reach out to me and be like, hey, Denise, can you tell me how you did this? Can you tell me how you did that?
Never.
Can you help me out with this?
Never.
All the time. But no one ever gives me, you're not going to tell anybody.
Diva talking about going to a Jets game. She was in Jersey.
Oh, sorry. My thing is like blowing up. Sorry.
It's like today is actually a good episode of Raw. We're talking about the Jets.
Thank you. Okay, first of all, I have the correction now, Sean, so I can burn you now, okay? It's nobody in human history, I have the meme right here, has ever sent a text message about the Bengals winning a playoff game. Bengals' last playoff win, 1991. Homeboy, I wasn't even born yet.
Sorry, you don't know about the Bo Jackson curse? That's on you. Anyway, this Friday, I will be back to cover
Lucky
SmackDown.
I can't crotch chop right now on camera.
Damn, Denise, that's too much. That's just unreal. But I'll be back on Friday for the post SmackDown show, but that's not it. The Listen You Boy will not be happening this Wednesday. Instead, it will be Friday. I feel like since I'm going to Arthur Ashe, I was like, you know what? I'll have some news coming out of that. We'll talk about it on Listen You Boy. But also this Friday, it is going to be a loaded Friday for Fightful. I've been teasing a story that I've been working on since like June about WWE and their various relationships with Fox, NBC Universal, USA Network, Peacock, and the like. The first part of that will drop Friday. It looks like it's going to focus on the Fox end of things. I'm talking like some really in-depth stuff, like what do they think of the draft and the roster split? What do they think of viewership and how that has been affected by the pandemic? Who are the points of contact there between the McMahons and the Murdoch family? Even like down to who Vince McMahon's having dinner with to talk about a lot of these things with. There's so much to this story. If any of you all are interested in these relationships between companies, this is going to be a really good one. We've been working on it for a very long time. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. In addition, this evening, we broke some news about the location for Full Gear, AEW Full Gear, as well as how a big autograph signing that a lot of the talent was scheduled for is going to be handled since they moved Full Gear. Head over to FightfulSelect.com. We broke some big news last week. A guy by the name of Pete Dunne re-signed with WWE. And Johnny Gargano's contract is coming up very soon. So you never know what we're going to drop over there. It's a good time. But we got super chats. JW Pringle said, Ryback doesn't like SRS. He said bad words at SRS. Well, you know what? I'd do anything.
What were they? Did I miss it?
I don't know, but you know what? If I were him, I'd be doing whatever I could to get attention too. Jason Griefer says they don't call her Little Evil for nothing in reference to Denise.
I'm gonna have to start disassociating myself. You know what? I haven't been. You know what?
You want to hitch your wagon to Ryback? That's
no. Hold on, no, not that. Actually, I have people now that go to me and they write to me like, oh, Sean said this, like, why don't you do that, this and that? And they'll be like snitching on you to me.
Yeah, Denise, I know that person threatened to murder me last week.
Hold on, that's not it. And then I have people telling me like, oh, Sean thought this about that, so now I know what you thought. I'm like, the frick? Why am I getting blamed for what Sean is saying? You're getting me in trouble now, and I have nothing to do with any of that.
Well, you know what? One of those people threatened to murder my family last week, so we'll not listen to them.
Yeah, Sean, we all know. We heard the news. We saw your Twitter.
Yeah, I'm going to mute you because that's not a funny thing to joke about, Denise. Sabanistic says, let's talk about my Texans. Actually, let's not. Denise, who's your football team?
Well, by default, I have to go for the Jets.
Douglas Johnson says, why do you hate French Canadians, Sean? I love French Canadians. And Maddie B. Wrestling says, the Jets went to back-to-back AFC championship games in the past 20 years. Who gives a shit? We had a pretty good episode of Raw. John Gorman says, hey, RSRS and Denise, only watched the first 30 minutes, but it sounds like Raw was better tonight. Do you think USA is putting pressure on them to have better shows? A little more sense of urgency. Well, Denise, it's funny they asked that because it seems like that's the case of late based on the conversations that I've been having. Does it seem like to you that like they have been grilled to maybe step it up a little bit? Because for a long time it was the same.
For the USA Network, you mean? Or
Fox or anybody. It seems like the rematches are fewer and far between, kind of. I mean, there were still a few tonight.
Well, to be honest, like I noticed, I started like today's episode of Raw. I really felt like we were seeing like something different. And again, like I'm coming in here as somebody that really enjoyed today's show. And I thought that they did a lot of stuff that I actually liked. Okay. And then even with last week, we had the whole Biggie win and all of that. And for the most part, last week's episode was like, okay. But I really did think that they stepped it up this week, though. And then I didn't get to watch this past week's SmackDown, so I can't really comment on that. But in regards to Raw, yeah, I thought that I felt like they were putting an actual, real, legitimate effort to put on a good show.
Rob Reed says, if hot shotting leads to a show like tonight's every week, hot shot away. What a show. Well, I mean, I would rather they just do stuff that makes sense that leads to great shows like this instead of just hot shotting. But the Nerd Guru says, so accustomed to Raw sucking, but this was a good Raw. Thanks AEW for kicking Vince into gear. Maybe next week might be trash. You guys rule. There's nothing that indicates to me that it was AEW that kicked him into gear. Otherwise, he would have been kicked into gear a long time ago, Denise.
Well, I can't see. I feel like it's not one of those things, and obviously you'd probably know more about this, but I don't think it's just a one thing that is leading to all of this. I think it's multiple things. You have all of these people saying all of this negative stuff. You had the Mick Foley video, which was kind of, not necessarily, it was kind of embarrassing for the company to have somebody like Mick Foley, a legend, put out that video
Yes.
For them. And then you have AEW Dynamite that's coming up this week and Rampage. So we have the 2-hour Rampage, and you have this like very highly profiled promoted show for AEW Dynamite. On top of that, you have, football. So I just feel like there is so many different things. If they're not actually doing anything to put some effort into the show, that's not a good sign. But like, given everything, all of those things that I just mentioned, I feel like all of that contributed to at least tonight's good show.
We've got KE775 saying, do you think we'll see any NXT wrestlers drafted? Yeah, I would expect. This isn't a report. It's just my hunch. Denise, I think we'll probably see Austin Theory and Dakota Kai and Aaliyah and a lot of the people who have kind of been in purgatory, Xia Li, probably drafted up. It would make a lot of sense. That's in a couple weeks now.
I mean, it would make sense, right? But I think at this point, it's like, I don't know if just because if it makes sense, we're bound to see it happen. But we obviously, with NXT 2.0, we are seeing so many new faces. And it's either they completely take all of those people that were, like you said, in purgatory to make room for those new faces, or they really do just find a balance of, having those same people that they already had mixed in with all of the new people that they're bringing in. So it's like either they're going to find a balance for that, or they're going to, just do what they've been doing.
Jeff L says, hello, friends. Happy National Hispanic Heritage Month. Yeah, happy National Hispanic Heritage Month, guys. We appreciate the super chat. Raphael says, the Miz killed his dance routine tonight. I always think of the other real world housemates that clowned him. Where are they now, and where is he? Well, they're nowhere near the public eye like he is. I know a few of them hung around for a while, but very, very few cast members on that show tend to last that long, unless they make a good run on the challenge or something. But do you watch Dancing with the Stars, Denise?
I used to, but I only watch if like my favorite celebrities are on, and none of my favorite celebrities have been on, so I don't watch.
There you go. Orlando says, I thought tonight's Raw was only about the first 30 and last 30 minutes. Everything else was meh. Shocked to hear you guys love it. I mean, maybe it's graded on the Raw curve or something, Denise, but compared to most Monday,
because I've come on here and I've watched some brutal episodes of Raw. I've talked about some brutal episodes of Raw, okay? I've been like wanting to like fall asleep during multiple episodes. And no, this wasn't a good episode. I even thought like the middle and everything, like, I mean, not everything, because there was one match which we're going to get into eventually, but I liked it.
Thank you for the kind words to Wrestle Riot. Patrick Cooper says, was it Raw tonight? It was an amazing show, but each woman's match averaged 2 minutes in length. At least there are multiple to average. I'll say that. Fear and Loathing says, will Rampage be taping after Dynamite Wednesday? I don't know if they'll be taping some before, some after. I don't know how that will work. Cool Joe says, Raw was actually good tonight, but I guess that tag team turmoil match meant nothing. Well, I mean, MVP is battling an injury, so it couldn't happen the way that they wanted it to. So that's unfortunate, but that's just unfortunate. That's it. Nothing they can really do about somebody getting hurt. Shit happens. And Chris Hart says, feels like the pay-per-view matches are not Extreme Rules. I think this will be something they save until later in the week. Then they'll go, oh, shit. And then they'll add a bunch of stipulations, Denise. Does it surprise you we don't have any yet?
I think that that's exactly what's going to happen, where all of a sudden it's going to be like, this is a tables match. This is, this is that. I feel like it's going to come very, very suddenly because, yeah, Extreme Rules and there isn't any extreme stipulations.
William Banta wants to ask where you got that sick Bret Hart print behind you.
Amazon.
Oh, hot diggity dog. And
hot diggity dog.
Hot diggity dog. Orlando says, any word about Walter coming to the States? Vince could really need him for Raw. Give us Walter versus Big E. Buddy, I don't know what makes you think that Vince wants him for Raw based on what we saw at Survivor Series a few years ago where he got pinned in 2 minutes. No, I have not heard anything like that. But what we did hear about was Big E and New Day back together taking on the Bloodline. And, of course, this match was announced out of nowhere. SmackDown stars, the Bloodline, not on the UK tour. Instead, they are here on Raw because what the hell's the brand split matter? And I know people say, well, Big E was on SmackDown. Well, he is a SmackDown star with the WWE title. It makes sense in that realm of things. I had somebody say it's a quarterly brand-to-brand invitational. Well, no, because Baron Corbin did that last month. So that's not what that is. It's quarterly. It was just a thing that they decided to do and added, and it made for some great action tonight. But it also makes me wonder, like, why are we watching this draft in a couple weeks? Will that matter that much? Because Denise, in 2019, especially before the TV deals kicked in, they did that shakeup, and they were like, oh, hell, we just messed this all up. And they just went crazy. Then we've seen the wild card rule and all that. Do you think we're getting back to that, or do you think they're going to try to stay strict?
I thought they were going to stay strict last year. It felt like they were. And then all of a sudden there was trades being made. I don't remember the details, but there was like, who got traded where it was like one person got traded for 2 people or something like that. A trade happened on a talk show. Some stuff was happening on social media. People were losing track of who was being traded. Some people weren't even traded at all. Some people weren't some people weren't drafted at all. I just remember kind of being a little bit of a mess. Like, unless they were actually made during the show, everything else was like, oh, you kind of have to like figure it out on social media and, see what's out there and whatnot. So I kind of feel like, I hope that doesn't happen, but hoping is one thing. And I think we're going to be in the same situation that we were last year where they're doing all of these random trades.
I don't like that. Brandon Charles Powell says New Day versus Bloodline should have main evented a pay-per-view. I feel like they could have gone Survivor Series for that. I don't know about main event, but a 6-person elimination tag match. But the match was good. But that finish was very unusual. I loved the match. But Icy Naomi says, I usually stay pretty calm when watching this, but the spot where the ref saw the DQ and never called it broke me. Bobby Lashley came out there and like ran over everybody with a tank, Denise. And they didn't call it. And I had people on Twitter with the balls to say, oh, well, they weren't the legal men, so it didn't count. That's not how this has ever worked, Denise.
And it wasn't even like the referee's back was turned or he was distracted. No, the referee saw everything happen. And I thought, okay, well, there you go. That's a way to essentially not have either team lose. But then when the referee, like, they didn't call it or anything like that, I was like, okay, this is weird. Where are we going with this? And here's the thing, though, that I do want to take a second and put over before the actual finish, though, because there was a moment where they really gave Big E a lot on Roman Reigns here tonight. Like, he was literally like manhandling him throughout this match, suplexing him left and right. I really thought that those couple of moments that they had in between both of those two guys, I felt that it did so much for Big E in that moment to, just again, amplify him as a stronger champion. Like first day on the job as champion. I thought they did a really good job of that. And again, I was trying to figure out how they were going to essentially make it so that you don't have Roman Reigns or Big E's team lose, and when they had Bobby Lashley come in and do this attack, I thought, oh, okay, that's it. This is going to be a DQ, no contest. Okay, fine, whatever. And then it didn't happen. So it was kind of strange.
We have a bunch of super chats about this match. Norm Summers says, about to start Raw, mainly interested in New Day Bloodline. Dark Side episode has me embarrassed to be a WWE fan. Always love you too. Stay juicy. But Brandon says, love that Bobby was actually upset that he lost the title. So often in WWE, the former champ just shows back up with the just happy to be here routine. Or they just show up like, I want my rematch. No, Bobby Lashley was pissed off. He was mad all around. He was like, no, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to hurt people as a result of this.
He should be, because throughout his run as, as champion, he was a dominant champion. How many times didn't we see him absolutely, just like lose it and dominate across the board? You can't just suddenly forget that that's who he is. You can't suddenly undo everything that you did with Bobby Lashley. So the fact that they actually did not, I know that he was, later on we'll talk about the main event, and I know he was really just there to, protect both guys, and that's fine and all, but I really thought that today was Bobby. Okay, like I said, Bobby Lashley has been impressive. Don't get me wrong, but I felt he was more impressive here tonight. Like, there was something about him not having the title and coming in with this new, like, ravaged attitude, this aggression that he brought into tonight that kind of made me like Bobby Lashley even more. I was like, damn, I'm more into Bobby Lashley not as the champion than I was as the champion. And that's saying a lot, because I did like him as champion. And so, like, for me, I'm glad that they didn't just forget about him being the person that he was the last couple of weeks on Raw, or that they didn't lessen his character to, just, really make, Roman and Big E obviously looking that much stronger. What I will say overall about the theme of tonight is that we had 3 people that came out looking strong tonight. And I will say that it was obviously Roman, Big E, and Bobby Lashley. They all came out looking good.
We have a bunch of super chats. Make sure you get yours in, guys. YouTube.com/Fightful. Ken Shearer says, I know it's a bit of a contentious term, but Reigns is starting to feel like a Mary Sue. More power to the people who enjoy it, but it's boring. No, I enjoy it. I like it. Everything he's doing right now is still for me, because he's being protected. And that's why when Big E, Roman got in the ring together in this match, Denise, the crowd was for it. 2 protected top guys who haven't been getting beaten a bunch. And the crowd cared. Ken says, honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they didn't end in DQ just so Roman could win twice in one night. I mean, they write the script. They can write him to win 2 times no matter what. Rafael Garcia said that ref saw as much as Mike Chioda did on the plane ride from hell. Damn. Bezos says, I'm so glad they left that badass horror show tagline off of it. No DQ for Bobby? What are the rules? The rules are whatever they write at that given time, apparently. Zach says the booking was confusing. Did they expect those who tuned in to see hastily arranged 6-man stick around after they ran it first, given Raw's track record? I mean, the fact that everything's got to have a funky finish just, like, doesn't sit well with me. And even then, it was still better than most stuff. Nerd Guru wants the Hurt Business to reunite and feud with both of these teams. Well, yeah, me too, if it makes sense within the context of the show and the brands and all that. They self-impose this stuff too. Like, they decide the brand split and all that. So I just want them to make sense of this stuff.
Yeah, and at first I thought, like, when they had this 6-man, happening at the top of the show, I really thought it was just them trying to get, a strong numbers for the first hour. Obviously, their first hour is always, do better than, the second and third, et cetera, whatever, right? But the point is that, like, I thought, all right, this is what they're trying to do for this week. They're trying to get these guys in before, the game starts, et cetera. That's what I was thinking there. I was not, and I mean, not expecting this triple threat match at the end of the show. However, again, even though it did feel like it came out of nowhere, like all of this came out of nowhere, I was a fan of it.
Yeah, Paul Heyman goes backstage to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, argues with them. Big E wants Lashley tonight. Paul Heyman's mad, so Pearce makes a triple threat match, and we're going to talk about that later, because holy crap, that is a pay-per-view main event match being made right there.
Yeah, and see, I saw a lot of people that were like kind of upset that they did this match or that there wasn't that much promotion on it or all of that. And I get it. I do think, having the promotion ahead of time or, maybe building it up for a pay-per-view. I get that whole argument. Trust me, I do. But I do have to say this though, and I've said this a million times, but one of the major things that WWE Raw has been lacking, and I've said this 1 zillion times, is really the element of surprise. There are so many times where I tune into the show and you can pretty much predict what is going to go down, what you're going to see. I didn't predict this. I didn't see this coming. And even though they could have told a better story leading up to this match, and again, putting it on a pay-per-view, I thought that even just the fact that they went out there and that they did this match out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? At least I was surprised. At least it's something different.
Oh, Denise, I felt really vindicated tonight on Raw. You know why?
Why?
Because for like 2 years, I've been saying they need to team up Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Like 2 years. And they finally did it. They've got a generic Titantron and everything. But they beat Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. Raw has 9 tag teams, if you were to believe that. 9
really?
tag.
I don't even think I can name them all.
You probably can't, and most people couldn't either. But I'm all for Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo playing the handsome Latino guys that they are. I mean, Humberto needs what Angel Garza has.
Where do I start with this, Sean?
Tell me you loved it, and that's it.
Oh, okay, fine. I loved it.
Yes!
Should I continue on with my real thoughts?
If you want,
or should I keep my real thoughts inside of me? What should I do, Sean?
To be right again. Tell us what you think.
Okay, fine. I will be completely honest with what I think, okay? And this is why I'm here. So I'll be real with you guys. This feels very, very on par with somebody mentioned, again, Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th. When was the last time we saw Angel Garza? Oh, yeah, I had to go and check. June. He was in a battle royal, and before that, he had one singles match back in May.
Yep.
We are in September. We haven't seen the guy.
He kicked a flower up somebody's ass.
There you go. And now, I mean, I'm so glad. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to be a negative Nancy and all of this. I'm so glad that they're finally doing this team. But I want to see where it goes before, again, I get all excited. And like I said last week, could jump off a bridge over it. I'm not going to right now, because right now this kind of feels like, oh, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Let's throw them out there, you know? I'm sorry, but they got to do way more with their Latino talent, okay? That's it. Right. And that's point blank.
You're right. There was no Mexican talent on WrestleMania either night.
I can't even tell you, I'm blanking right now, but aside from Rey Mysterio and Dominic and Zelina Vega, and I'm probably forgetting a few key people, there's not that many Latinos you see every week on Raw or SmackDown, you know? So I'm sorry, but it's like, I got to see more, man.
I do too. Orlando says, happy to see Humberto and Angel teaming together, hoping for a future tag run. This match could have been longer. Could have been about 7-8 minutes. I feel like they didn't do Mansoor and Mustafa Ali justice here. And when you're building this tag division, you've got so many good tag teams there, or good potential tag teams. So hopefully,
at the same time, you're just putting them together, Angel Garza and Humberto. So you're going to obviously want to get them that win. Of course. So it was kind of one of those situations where it's like, no matter what, it was going to be like, no matter who lost, it was going to be like, oof,
Brandon Rosen says, I noticed the Ric Flair woo was deleted from the intro tonight. Is that a coincidence? No, it is not a coincidence. They pulled it after the Dark Side of the Ring. And of all people, they replaced it with the Ultimate Warrior. Could have thought of better options to replace with, but there you go. Nerd Guru says, all day I've been hearing things about how Becky and Bianca toured the house down in the UK. Hyped for their Extreme Rules match. I think they click. That's a benefit of these house shows, Denise. They actually get to work the match out.
Of course. Yeah, do it, man. I haven't seen the clips, but I have heard.
Bezos says nobody takes a corner post like Ali. That is the truth. Ali goes out of his way to make everybody look like $1 million, even if what he's doing, whether it is or isn't creatively satisfying, he goes out of his way to make them look good. Karrion Kross's promo. What'd you think?
You know what? I don't even know what to think anymore. Look, I don't hate it. I think they could do worse. Right? Like last week's promo was perfectly fine. This one was just there. It wasn't anything to like I didn't feel outraged by it. I didn't feel like anything really. It was more of like a vignette though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't really feel it's just like a clip for me.
Zach Barber says, I feel like running the 6-man first undermined the goal of holding viewers, especially since it took almost 2 hours before the main event was announced. I do think that they believe that people will just hang on a little more than what they should. You could tell they were short-staffed tonight. They did the 6-man. It took up a bunch of time. Then I don't want to say they recycled. It's a good thing to recycle Big E and Roman Reigns. They're great. But they took up the last 25, 30 minutes of the show. Do you think they should have announced that earlier?
The triple threat match, I think they should have announced it before Raw aired. Like, I don't know, earlier today, Friday, I don't know when, any day would have been fine for me. Yeah, I think they should have definitely promoted. I mean, given how it all worked out, though, and how they set it up, it makes sense as to why they waited so long. But, I mean, maybe they could have found a different way to get around it so that they could have promoted it much sooner.
We've got Rob Reed saying, forgot to bring this up during the opening segment, but I teared up for Big E talking about Brody, but I wasn't expecting him to give Will Hobbs a shout. Yeah, he thinks an awful lot of Will Hobbs, and he's spoken about that publicly.
That was a nice moment, BTW. I was glad that he did that. It was just a nice, very easy, everybody knew who he was talking about sort of thing. And the crowd automatically started chanting Brody's name. And he didn't even have to say his name for like everyone to know, obviously. So that was really nice.
Terry Creech says, when will we ever see a Native American representation in WWE? There's not nearly enough. I mean, there's not nearly enough Native American representation in pro wrestling in general, and I hope that we see a groundswell of that moving forward. I mean, that's a demographic that is severely lacking. Eva Marie against Dewdrop again. Like, what?
Was it the exact same match as last week?
What is the point of this?
I'm pretty sure it was the exact same match as last week. It looked the same to me.
My God.
Am I crazy here?
Well, the difference is Eva comes out and basically is like, haha, Dewdrop's nasty.
This made me nervous. I didn't know where they were going with this. When she started saying like, oh, women like you and women like me, I forget what she said verbatim, but I was like, where are you going with this? Where are you going with it?
Called her a mess and all that stuff. And I mean, to me, Eva needs to be selling more after these ass whoopings. Like, she's getting up pretty early, it feels like. Like, you should be getting like a good sell job on this. Man. Not nearly enough for me, but this match shouldn't have even happened. Like, we saw it. Dewdrop won. Let's move on.
Well, Dewdrop did say that Evolution was dead, but then commentary was arguing as to whether or not it was dead or not. So I don't know if they're trying to tell us it's dead. I don't think it's dead. I'm pretty sure we're going to see this at least one more time.
Yeah, of course we will. Russell Adams says, hey, Sean, pay Denise more and have her on this channel more. Love you all. Russell, Northern Ireland.
I can't. I only come out during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Damn, Denise.
What? I like to have fun. I like to crack jokes every now and then.
Well, RK Bro was backstage. They have really good chemistry. Randy Orton.
I don't appreciate selling my joke. It makes me feel low. Like I make a joke and you don't laugh.
I don't know, Denise. Maybe you're... Never mind.
Why am I even on the show?
Well, Randy Orton didn't no-sell Riddle's jokes. He almost broke character on TV. It seems like Randy Orton is having a lot of fun doing this. He seems like he really enjoys this. And then we saw the match with AJ afterwards, and it's like, okay, we've seen this match a bunch. I don't know how much, but it feels like we've seen it a bunch lately. But this match, this was really, really good. But first, tell me what you thought of the promo.
The promo was funny. I wish I would have known what the headphones were, because I'm assuming this was like a product placement type of deal, but I didn't know like what the brand was for the headphones. So maybe I don't know if it was intended to be a product placement sort of deal. But I thought it was funny because Matt Riddle was like, "Oh yeah, like I made you a playlist, this and that." And then he was singing the Randy Orton song. I thought all of that was funny. It was fine, and Randy Orton's just looking at him like, "Oh dear God." It is what it is every week. It's fine.
And I mean, I love both of these guys. We see this match so much. I mean, we saw it December 2019, November 2020. We've seen it 3 times this year. We saw it last month. We saw this match, and then we've seen him wrestle a bunch. I think they should move on from AJ and Omos and Randy Orton and Riddle. Joel says a motivated and happy Randy Orton is one of the best in the business. Well, he was tonight. I loved that finish. I loved the suplex as well. But the finish where Randy caught AJ going for it and doing the hesitation was so smooth. There's just like this sense of motivation that Randy seems to have when there's somebody that can really, really go with him. And he has that with AJ Styles. They have very, very good chemistry. I thought the finish was awesome. I'm so glad it was a clean finish as well. I thought this was wonderful.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think AJ somewhere in some interview, I think he said that Randy was a lot of people say Randy is some of like their favorite opponent to work with, but I'm pretty sure AJ might have mentioned him as well too. And I mean, these are both guys that they just know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
And Randy's the guy that everybody says, if you could build a wrestler in a lab, it's always him. It's always him. Who do you think they move on to next for RK Bro and the tag titles?
So who else do they've got?
They got like 7 other teams. It's just none of them are over. They haven't gotten any of them over.
That's the problem. I was like, okay, you got Mustafa Ali and Mansoor, but are they going to move on to them? Maybe not.
The teams there are AJ and Omos, Angel and Humberto, Lucha House Party, New Day, Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, not Retribution. You got the team of Mahal, and then you got the Viking Raiders. So a lot of teams that could be okay, but like nobody is over to the point to where, okay, let's put him in there with Randy Orton.
I'm going to go with Ali and Mansoor.
After they lost tonight.
Out of those options.
That's the most WWE thing.
That's that feels like the most probable option.
I like Joel saying I'd bring grizzled young vets to Raw in the draft. Boy, they would be good. They'd be good. Oh, man, that would be a lot of fun.
I did like Omos uppercutting Matt Riddle during this match because he literally like went flying. That was one of the highlights for me, aside from everything that Randy and AJ were doing.
Oh, one of my favorite things on this show. Shayna Baszler just beat the brakes off of Nia Jax. Now, I got to preface this, Denise, by saying Shayna should have never been in the booking situation to where she needed a reset. She should have never needed or required a reset, but they have treated her like garbage for 1.5 years. Since the Becky feud ended, and really, let's be real, when the Becky feud started and she was biting people's necks, like she's never been booked great, but this felt like a reset. However, it's WWE, so there's a real possibility that like next week or the week after, or even this Sunday, Nia pops right back up, isn't hurt at all, and beats Shayna. Hopefully not. But this was way too much talking, but then Shayna was just like, I'm going to hit you really hard and choke you out. I don't think they could have booked the match better than this. This was wonderful.
And one of the things that we've been talking about nonstop on this show is the fact that they've been protecting Nia Jax so much. She's been protected for a good amount of time. And for her to essentially lose in this manner to Shayna, I thought it was a great sign for Shayna. Like when you mentioned this reset, I wouldn't have, had she not won in this fashion and then all the events that transpired after the match, I would not have necessarily bought into this. But the way that she won and the way that, again, that they've been booking Nia, it actually kind of feels like it's coming together now. Whether or not this was the plan all along, I'm assuming, because they kind of had like a breakup. Then you thought they were breaking up one week, then the following week they were back together, and then the week after that they were friends again. So it kind of felt like they were debating for a very long time when to really legitimately pull the plug on them as a team. So, I mean, I'm taking this as a good sign for Shayna.
Me too. Afterwards, you got Nia getting her elbow stomped, and she screamed bloody murder. She sold the hell out of it. Some people thought it was too much. Some people liked the way that it made Shayna look. How were you feeling about
it? So, I didn't think the Nia selling was that great. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I get it. I get it.
The shrieking, I'm supposed to feel bad for her, right? I'm supposed to feel bad, that she's hurt in this situation. I
just don't have any sympathy for her. And I saw somebody say it's hard for me to get sympathy on her. I'm like, well, that's not always the issue. Like, you're not always turning her baby face. You're just showing that Shayna Baszler's bad as hell.
Even though Nia's a heel and all of that, that's fine, right? But like, I didn't feel any sympathy for her at all. I was just like, oh my God, make this stop. I'm sorry. I didn't think this was all that great.
Artist says, loved when Shayna took out Nia. I popped. And Brandon Rosen says, if Nia is written off TV for a bit, the women's roster can feel a whole lot safer. Well, okay, sure. But I thought this was handled really well. Now, I want to see Shayna Baszler protected and treated like the badass that she is.
Hashtag no biting, please.
Yes. Oh, my God. Please, no biting. Oh, my God. It was just, it started it off so bad. And then she lost at WrestleMania, and they couldn't have known that Becky was going to go. But I'm sure if Becky knew that she was going to go, she would have dropped the title.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Reminder, guys, get your super chats in. Please leave a thumbs up. Got some interviews dropping this week. The former Aries Sterling in WWE, Alex Zane. We've got an hour-long interview dropping Tuesday. And then later this week, how about Dewdrop? Spoke to her a while back. Got some other great interviews coming up that I can't reveal right now.
Ooh.
But I'll have a lot of stories on them up on FightfulSelect.com ahead of that. I love the Shayna Baszler thing. It was good. You got Brandon Charles Powell saying, what did you think of the remorseful look on Shayna's face during the post-match? I guess it makes sense because they were a team, but I want to see the killer Shayna look with no remorse. I mean, Denise, when this team started, we thought it was going to last a couple weeks and they were going to build to the match. They stretched this out well over a year. I mean, we're talking like, I don't even know if the Thunderdome was around. I think they were still at the PC when they were doing this team.
I will tell you this. I did not hate the remorse that Shayna had because she just can't go back exactly to what she was before, right? They got to do something different with her to, like you said, reset the character. So the fact that she did have some remorse, I'm okay with that. She can still be this badass chick that's, kicking butt left and right and making girls scream and cry. But at the same time, she can still have like a tiny tint of like, ooh, it just adds layer to her character. And I'm okay with that. I didn't mind this. At first, my first initial reaction to seeing the remorse on her face was, I don't really care that she feels like I don't want to see her feel bad about it. But then once I started thinking about it, I was like, it has to be something new, something a little bit different.
I agree. Elias. Somebody says, any idea what's going on with the Elias? Your guess is as good as mine. I will try to find out. Joel Wood says, what do you think of Keith Bearcat Lee? A heel turn. Well, I mean, I've had somebody tell me that they kind of heard about this a while back. I'm looking to find out more. The instant comparison will be to Bearcat Wright, who was 6'6", 275. The optics very similar to that of Keith Lee in that their size and stature. And he was a very agile, big man wrestler. Like he would do a lot of like spin kicks and jumps off the top rope, even though his like finisher was a claw hold. I mean, that's the comparison we're getting here. But Keith Bearcat Lee, what are your thoughts when you heard that, Denise?
Okay, so I read that before Raw, obviously. And then this actually reminded me of the Matt Riddle, Randy Orton segment, because they were talking about all of these like wildlife animals and all of this. And I was like, are they going to mention Keith Lee or something? Like, where are they going with this? That's the first thing that I thought of when the whole Matt Riddle, Randy Orton promo went on backstage. Now, what do I think of the actual name? It feels very out of nowhere. And I hope that it's executed in a good way and it doesn't come across weird like what they did with Karrion Kross.
Yep. I agree. And there's a good chance it's going to come across weird like what they did with Karrion Kross, Denise.
Yeah, see, like, are they gonna, they're obviously going to have to change his gear. And who knows what they're going to do to him.
Oh, boy.
They're going to have to you can't have a name like that and have that gear. He has to have different gear. So what did they? Oh my gosh. I have
they already changed it once. What else could they possibly do?
Face paint. I'm not saying they should do it, but I'm just thinking, trying to think like them right now.
Tyree James says, I was there live. WWE needs to end the brand split. Fat chance, buddy. Sorry. Rob Reed says, Keith Lee went from limitless to a name that immediately limits him. Damn.
That's good. I mean, not good for him, but good for the super chat.
John Vask says, Shayna looking good just to lose with a roll-up again. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I don't want that to be the case. Oh, man. Alexa, Charlotte, the promo. I love the dialogue here. I mean, I don't like the hocus pocus stuff, but this was very much Charlotte being like, I'm not dealing with your hocus pocus bullshit. I love the line about where Alexa's going at Charlotte for not being original and for losing the title all the time. Then Charlotte's like, really? We're going to talk about being original? Like, that was a nice inside baseball thing. I did not have high hopes for this program because of all the hocus pocus stuff that we see. I think they're doing as well as they possibly can.
I love this. Oh, I was such a big fan of this. I didn't even write notes down because I was so like in tune with what they were saying. And I didn't know if they were going to touch on certain topics. I mean, I figured they weren't, but I thought maybe they're going to throw, like you said, like an inside, like, I don't know, something that like, you know, you would only catch if you like know what's going on in the news and all of that. Right. So I kind of sensed that they were going to go somewhere with it. And then I forgot what exactly Alexa Bliss said, but she mentioned something about like, she turned the conversation a different direction. I forgot what the word was that she said, but I just immediately thought, oh my God, where is Alexa Bliss going with this? Like, where is she going to go with this? But before that, I do want to say that I thought everything that Charlotte Flair was saying was like on point. Like, she was bringing up a lot of the legitimate gripes that fans have, you know, on social media, talking about Alexa Bliss and the Alexa Bliss character. And I cannot believe how over the Charlie doll is. She's more over than Lily. Like, everybody hated Lily, and now Charlie's like, you know, loved or whatever. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And obviously, you know, it's the crowd kind of playing along to the fact that, you know, Charlotte hates Charlie and all of that. But I just kind of thought that was hilarious. So I thought that Charlotte was bringing up a lot of good points. This even felt like a babyface promo to me at one point because I was agreeing with everything that she was saying. And then once Alexa Bliss took the reins and she started, again, I forgot what it was that she said that kind of turned this thing into an entire direction. And then when people started doing the whole, you know, when they started wooing and, you know, Charlotte's, you know, embracing the woos, and then Alexa's just like, that's not even yours. Like, that wasn't even originally yours. And then that line, again, like you mentioned, where she hits her with, you really want to talk about originality, like,
that was so good.
Oh, it was so good. I really like that. I mean, given the fact that when they mentioned that they were going to do Alexa's Playground with Charlotte Flair, I thought this was going to be a disaster. And it wasn't. It was very well played and a really good reminder that Alexa Bliss is really great on the mic.
Ian says, the crowd reaction to Charlotte and Alexa in the ring won me over 2 weeks ago. I think they won everyone else over tonight. Both are still underrated. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if they're both underrated or if they're just both. They don't get the credit they deserve because a lot of people dismiss them because they're on the show so much.
They definitely do not get the credit they deserve. You know, people hate Charlotte. We've already been there. I mean, we've had people on here saying why they hate Charlotte, right? And then with Alexa Bliss, it's the character. People don't like it So I do think, but people sometimes forget that she is doing a really great job with the character, even if it's not for everybody. And so I do think that it is one of those things where, yeah, they may not be doing things that you like, neither woman, but they're both doing a phenomenal job in their roles.
Cool Joe says, we want the old Alexa Bliss back. Thank you, Charlotte. And JW Pringle says, does Charlotte ever come out without a robe? For the life of me, I can't remember. My thought is WWE is distancing the subtlety from Rick with reasons. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, she's been like, her fashion's been pretty crazy lately. She's coming out there like not in her gear, like in actual stuff.
She's been doing moves with heels.
Yeah. Her guru says, whoever booked this saw Britt versus Ruby just saying, no, I don't think that this really had anything to do with that. But I thought this was really, really good. I thought this was exceptional. This was Raw firing on all cylinders and doing really well. Denise?
Yeah?
Trying to think of a good segue about Manscaped. What you got? I don't feel like doing it.
I have a Manscaped.
Do you?
Yeah. We got it using the Fightful code. Is that too much information?
No, it's great. Here we go. Manscaped. Autumn is in the air. The pumpkins are in the patch. Our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure you don't carve. What?
You're showing the wrong graphic.
Oh, am I? Oh, whoops.
Wake up, Sean. Wake up.
Sorry. I mean, hey, I do want to shout out our buddies at Blue Chew. They hit us up and they said, in light of the Dark Side of the Ring episode, let's pause until October. Bless those guys. Support them. They're good people. But as I was saying, Denise, it's autumn. It's fall. Do you do a lot of fall activities? I don't know if like the weather.
Oh, I love fall. Fall's the best. The best.
Like, do you do the pumpkins and all that, carving pumpkins, all that?
No, I've never carved a pumpkin.
Well, I carved my first one last year, but you know what? You can run into an accident if you're carving the pumpkin in your pants and you're not using Manscaped. Let's make sure you're keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming with their brand new 4th generation performance package. Get ready to protect your pumpkins. Don't turn it into squash, if you know what I mean. You don't want those innards all over the place. Join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped. But go to Manscaped for 20% off plus free shipping with the code FIGHTFUL. Time to bundle up with that Performance Package 4.0. You get the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, the Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. It's got all that good stuff. That Performance Package has that lawnmower. Skin-safe technology is going to protect your little pumpkins, my friends. The 4000K LED spotlight, it's getting darker earlier, so you're going to be able to see it. It's got that precise shave, plus it's waterproof because that weather is getting a little damp, a little moist, as they say. But don't forget, they got the Weed Whacker too. 9,000 RPM motor-powered, 360-degree rotary dual-blade system to provide that proprietary skin-safe technology. Plus all those liquid formulations that I mentioned earlier. Plus the 2 free gifts, the boxers, the Shed travel bag, 20% off plus free shipping with the code FIGHTFUL at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code FIGHTFUL at manscaped.com. Clean, shiny balls, shave your pumpkins, mow that lawn, 2 free gifts, wink, wink.
Oh, she'll get the 2 free gifts.
Oh, boy.
Sean,
thank you, Denise, for the assist. I greatly appreciate it. You're a professional.
You're welcome.
Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. This is another match that was good. Big shocker. Now, Denise.
Yes.
I'm sad.
Why?
They didn't play off the rich history.
They never do.
I mean, these two were throwing piss at each other's face, and they didn't even play off of it. what a shame. But this match was very good. The highlight for me, well, Sheamus bleeds every week. Shocker. Sky is blue. Jeff Hardy eats those knees on a swanton and then still immediately hits a sunset flip for the win. Now, my thing is, Damian Priest has already beat both of these guys. So, okay. He's going to beat them both again because he ain't losing that title. He's super protected right now. But this match on Sunday, you add Jeff Hardy to the U.S. title match now. This match is going to hump.
I'm so glad that they added Jeff Hardy to this match because I just think it's just going to, I mean, obviously it's going to add so much more to it. And I just think people are going to have, a little bit more interest, and that's going to be great. That's going to benefit Damian Priest a whole lot, as champion. I feel very confident, like you said, that he is going to be retaining the belt. I feel confident that he is. But one of the things that I do want to add though, is that I'm so glad they had him on commentary during this because they could have easily not even had him come out. But I like that they had him on commentary, and I liked that he was never ever afraid of having Jeff Hardy added to this match, and he shouldn't be. Why? Because he's a babyface, and just all the things that he was saying on commentary about Jeff Hardy trying to get the spot, good for him. And I forget the exact wording that he used, but the point is that I like that he didn't come across as nervous about it. Like he welcomed the additional person into this match.
He's like, I'll fight him. I don't care. Joel Wood said Jeff Hardy got a win in his hometown. Oh my God. I didn't even realize it.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even realize it either.
Maybe it's because I tune out Raw commentary so much. It felt like they didn't make a big deal out of it.
No, they didn't.
I mean, it would have been kind of cool. But I love this. I love them adding Hardy to the Sheamus Damian Priest match. And I love the new women's tag team champions. Super brutality. Let's just end this Natalya Tamina nightmare. Nerd Guru says, give me all the matches between Shotzi and Tegan versus Rhea and Nikki. A little glimpse back into the NXT of old. Oh, buddy, they're going to give you plenty of them. I get the feeling you're going to see 3 or 4 of them. But before this, Rhea gets legit emotional talking about Connor's cure. Good to see that she cares about that. She takes that very seriously. But, well, first off, we're going to get a rematch. They're doing this match again Sunday. Guarantee you they do it. I'll bet anything they do this again Sunday, Denise.
I wish the match would have been just a tiny bit longer to make the win feel more grand. I thought that, when they won, I was like, oh my God. For some reason, I forgot that this was for the titles. For some reason, I just forgot. And then when I realized it, I was like, I had this moment of, oh my God, And so, but I want to touch back on Rhea Ripley because she was legitimately getting emotional during that. And I saw a bunch of people that were like, oh, it looked like she forgot her lines, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, she probably did. But I genuinely think that the emotion that she was, whatever emotion she was feeling, it was genuine. You could tell. And I think so many times you're used to seeing, people express themselves in very robotic ways, that because this wasn't a robotic way, it came across as it's something people were kind of like, oh, she just forgot her lines. Because I was reading the comments on what people were saying. And I'm like, no, she was legitimately touched. I mean, I don't know if this is something that hits close to home for her. I don't know if maybe she got to, visit some of the kids. I have no idea what went down there. But I did know, or at least it came through to me that was a very raw emotional moment for her. And I like that. I mean, it was very sweet. How could you not get that way when you're talking about something like Connor's cure? So yeah, I liked all this. And I was so happy for them when they won too.
And now you get the flexibility of having Rhea and Nikki ASH on SmackDown. And you need to work a program with Tegan and Shotzi. That's the team. That's who you should do. And then when you bring up the Xia Lees and the Aliyahs and the Dakota Kais, build some more teams. That way you don't have to do every match 4 times.
Well, Sean, hold on. Now that we have new champions, though, don't they have to redo their contenders match? Technically.
I'm just so happy that we got new champions.
Yeah.
Some stupid punk says, as usual, I can't wait for sour graps. Hashtag Kalex Mob. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have never checked out our post NXT show on Tuesday, Alex Palowski is now joined by Kate Hensler every week. So check that out. Joel Wood says that's the best lead into a Manscaped ad ever. Bob says, I think Bearcat Keith Lee sounds better than Keith Bearcat Lee. I do too, Denise. It rolls off the tongue a lot better to have it.
Say it again.
Bearcat Keith Lee sounds better than Keith Bearcat Lee.
Yeah, I actually thought it was the other way around, so never mind. Oops.
There you go. Injection says, I think Damian might go to SmackDown. I think that's a possibility. I think he'd fit in really well on SmackDown on Fox, too. They would probably like him. I'd switch the U.S. and Intercontinental Champions. Guys, get in your super chats. We are heading down the home stretch. Billy B. Bad says, is Shane McMahon done with WWE again? I don't think we've seen him since Raw Underground. Yeah, we have. He wrestled Braun at WrestleMania in a cage match. But it's so wild you asked that. I dug around this week, and I was told he is still WWE talent. So glad I can have an answer to the question that you spent money for, because I just happened to be asking about that this week. Some stupid punk says, FYI, the as usual for sour graps isn't a dig. Oh, we know. All good. All good, my friends. 24/7 segment. You've got Drake Maverick trying to formulate plots to knock off Reggie, including Drew Gulak distracting him. But Reggie's smarter than literally the entire roster, because distractions don't work on him, Denise.
No, I thought what was funny was the ending. He goes on top of the white truck, right? And then afterwards, so like he leaps off of it. And so you get this like further shot of the camera, and R-Truth and Akira Tozawa are still trying to climb up the little white truck, but they could have just came down the little hallway, because there was a little hallway where they didn't have to climb the truck. So I thought that was really funny.
I see it. I say it every week. I'm enjoying this more than I have any 24/7 stuff in a long time. So good on them recognizing it. This is why for so long, when people said, get rid of it, I'm like, no, just make it fun. Make it entertaining. That's it. Just do that. When everybody says, oh, end the brand split. No, book better. Get rid of the women's tag titles. No, book it better. Stop being lazy. You can do it. Well, Lashley, Big E, and Roman Reigns did it. They bumped that meat, Denise.
They did.
They slapped that meat. Those big sirloin beef sons of bitches. They bumped that meat super hard. Just it was tough. It was tough. Roman Reigns gets the win when Bobby Lashley is like, wait, I can use a chair, so I'm going to use a chair. And he beats Big E down hard with it. Now, I like this for a few reasons. It gives Big E a reason to want to fight Bobby Lashley, even though Bobby Lashley just is about to get pinned. Do I necessarily love Bobby Lashley getting pinned? Not really, but you know what? He got speared by the most protected guy in the company. And I say this over and over again. Sometimes wrestlers face each other and one's better than the other. Okay. But now, as a result, Denise, we got Big E, who's got the title, and he could just easily move on. But Bobby Lashley beat him with a chair. Bobby Lashley's got a reason to want to face Big E. Big E's got a reason to want to face Lashley. And Roman Reigns goes over. I thought they did really, really awesome with this. And the match, as well. They
touched on multiple stories here with all of these guys, you know? And when I said this earlier on the stream, I meant it. Like, each of these guys came out, you know, more grander than, you know, they were, you know, before the show. And that's saying a lot. And that's the thing, though, too, is that, you know, Big E as a new champion, he really needed all of this. Now, I knew for a fact there was no way he was going to get a win over Roman Reigns, but the way that they protected him in this match, and even with the finish, and even before in that opening match with the 6-man tag, even him getting, there was a moment where he hit the big ending on Roman Reigns, and he could have gotten the win there. But obviously, you know, Bobby Lashley coming in with the chairs and all of that. And I do like that now, because of the way that ended, he can have a story now with Bobby Lashley, and he should. And now it feels much more important. I was a fan of all of this. I didn't want any of this to end. I loved when Biggie did the splash on Bobby Lashley. I like when Bobby Lashley put him through the table. I thought actually after the table spot, I thought that's how they were going to essentially eliminate Biggie from the picture. So I was actually expecting it to end after that. So the fact that they continued, I'm glad that they did there. And then there was a moment where like Biggie speared the hell out of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
That was really cool too. Like just like straight through the ropes. That was really awesome. And again, I liked the finish. I was expecting Roman Reigns to win. I just didn't know how they were going to do it. And we all knew Bobby Lashley was there to take the pin, and that's perfectly fine. I didn't think it hurt him whatsoever. Again, I actually think he was the most impressive man of the night.
Really, really enjoyed this pay-per-view level match, pay-per-view level finish. This was everything I needed it to be, and it was a really, really good Raw. I wish Raw was like this every week. And I know that some people are saying, well, they had SmackDown stars. They do. But you know what you could do? Just book this better every week. But you know what? We got something special for you. Fightful Magazine, FightfulMag.com. Check it out, my friends. Head over to FightfulMag.com. Tons of great stories. CM Punk is back. We got Jack Goodwillie discussing that. We've got articles on Brian Lee, somebody who I've been trying to track down forever. Thunder Rosa with people who work with her. John Cena's WWE return. A look at the Thunderdome going the way of the dodo. We've got a look at the Steiner brothers, where they are now. Part 4 of our interview with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Cody Deaner of Impact Wrestling, who's been involved in wrestling for over 2 decades. Is the latest contributor to the Wrestlers Tribune. In addition to that, if you like those circus fights, the Mike Tyson 25 years after his prime, Jake and Logan Paul, we've got to look at that as well, and a look at the Fire Pro Wrestling series and why that matters. FightfulMag.com, available digital and print. Denise, what do you got going on this week?
I'm looking at the week. What's happening this week? What is happening? Oh, yeah, Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules, a giant AEW show. There's a lot. Yeah.
Sorry, my brain went blank. I was like, what is happening this week? Obviously, I got all my shows on F4W. Oh, Sean, my 100th episode of my solo show, Speak Now Pro Wrestling, is this Wednesday.
Congratulations.
100 episodes. I can't believe it. So I'll be celebrating that. That's going to be really fun. And then I'll be back here on this weekend for Extreme Rules.
That's right. It feels like forever since we've done a pay-per-view show together, because we were at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more super chats. I don't know who sent this one because it's not listed, but it says Roman beat Big E and New Day separately tonight. It'd be awesome if it led to Big E getting that win at Survivor Series against Roman. I would love that. But I think that the person who beats Roman Reigns needs to beat him for the title, Denise. I think it's important that they unseat him.
Yeah. See, I've said this before. I feel like I know in my heart when I feel like it's going to be right. But then again, what I feel doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm like, I'm torn on this one. Really, I am.
Thank you it was Joel Wood that sent that chat. And Orlando Orrego says, this main event was great. Best moment was when Bobby almost got the win, but Big E stopped it and Bobby got pissed off to get the chair. Everybody almost won this match, Denise.
That's good. I don't mind that.
And Nerd Guru says, quick Arthur Ashe predictions. Well, I'm hoping Hangman Page comes back. I think this would be a great place to bring him back, and just an entire crowd explodes after a killer match. And I think that Omega and Bryan Danielson should go to a time limit draw too.
Yeah, I agree. I like both of those things that you just said. I think it's going to be a really fun show. I can't wait to watch.
Well, guys, a reminder, the Listen Ya Boy will not be on Wednesday. It'll be on Friday. I wanted to give you guys kind of a rundown of what I find out and what I get at Arthur Ashe. But this Friday on FightfulSelect.com, part 1 of this big story I'm working on, this Fox WWE relationship. I'll be dropping one about the USA WWE relationship, and then one about the streaming platforms relationship with WWE. And there are some really, really good bits of information in there that you guys are going to love. breaking the news of some shows that I don't even think have been announced yet. Some planned dates, and there's just a whole lot there. And of course, we're going to bring you all kinds of exclusive news over at FightfulSelect.com. But Denise, I got to say, it was actually a comment you made about the sister wives that made me go, you know what? I should pursue this as a story.
Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
What? You say you're going to take credit for my entire story and me talking to 30 people?
No, but I'm pissed because at the top of this stream, I forgot what the hell I said, but the point is that, see, I inspired you. You're welcome. Now this is going to be a great story.
You inspire me every day, Denise.
All because Denise Salcedo made a dumb joke. And it
wasn't a dumb joke.
You.
It wasn't.
You know what's funny? I was going to tweet today, but then I decided not to because I didn't know how it was going to come off. I was going to say that this week USA Network was the favorite sister wife.
It wasn't a dumb joke, and it was actually brought up in one of my conversations with somebody at the USA Network, which was very funny. So there you go. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a thumbs up. Check out all of our shows, post NXT, post AEW, and the Distraction on Thursday as well. Until next time, we're out.